In a world. Let them fight. Welcome to the Greatest Story Podcast with your hosts, Zach
and Josh.
We are here to discuss and react to some of the greatest stories and not so
Mediocre
great
ones.
stories ever told. We will look at books, movies, video games, and all forms of storytelling to figure out what makes a good story and what are some of the greatest stories.
Including this one.
Yeah, today we're going to just jump right in and talk about monsters fighting, because that's about as clear as it gets in this movie that we're doing today. But before we do that, Josh, there's some people that we want to thank.
Oh, are there? We want to thank Pathfinder Commodore Peggy B, Pathfinder Captain Joanna B, Pathfinder Cadet Kirsten, and Pathfinder Cadet Lauren.
You guys are champs.
Here we go.
Here we go. Well, we're talking today about Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Which, fits our theme.
Yeah, it does. It also, the title fits the movie, title fits the movie. But let's just jump right into clear plot, because if you could tell from our intro, we've got some thoughts on this movie story.
And we got to remind ourselves, our initial premise was that we were going to be positive. And so we will try to be positive. But we also... No, we have to. That was our thing.
We'll be positive. Well, we
just positively certain that this movie's not great.
But I am probably going to recommend that you watch it at least once.
I will recommend that you have an adult juice box beforehand.
I own this movie. And
I do not. And I never will.
But let's talk about the plot. Can you summarize the plot? I am curious.
All right, yeah. All right. So, like most stories have, there is a relational friction with a family that is split asunder.
Do you remember why?
Their son dies because Godzilla steps on him.
Yeah, basically.
Anyways,
I guess it's important to note that this is a sequel to the first Godzilla.
It's a sequel. It's also worth noting I have not seen the original.
You don't need
the
to.
remake.
Yeah, you don't need to.
This is the only Godzilla movie I've seen. And Zach tells me that's a tragedy. Anyways, plot. We're talking about plot. There's the main character who's dad. I think his name's Mark.
Yep.
And he looks like a budget Tom Cruise.
Yes, I was thinking that, actually.
Yeah, it's like they wanted Tom Cruise but couldn't get Tom Cruise, so they got this guy. It was mean. I'm sorry. And then there's the other main character, which is his daughter. 11, Ellie Bobby Brown.
No, I mean, yes, but it is
Bobby. What's her name?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby
is what you're talking about. Her name is.
I have it.
Maddie.
Yeah.
And then the mom is Emma.
She doesn't need a name.
Okay.
And
the
then
mom
there's a
is bad.
Millie Bobby Brown lives with her mom. Her dad is doing a Nat Geo thing, so they're separated. Her mom is a mad scientist working for a company called Monarch.
Yep.
Which apparently is the most powerful, organized, militarized, scientific company in the world.
Secret organization that studies and contains giant monsters, aka Titans.
And they somehow have mega bases on every continent, maybe every single state, maybe every province in the world.
Yeah, basically all over the place.
And they're like, when we say big, we mean like, oh, look, it's
like
an oil
giant
rig. And
bunkers
that can house Godzilla.
Yep. Except not Godzilla, because he's like...
He's out chilling in the ocean
he's
until he's not...
Yeah.
Anyways.
They house the other monsters.
Plot. Gotta continue. Millie Bobby Brown's mom...
Yep.
Has built a MacGuffin box.
Yes.
That
can communicate and control.
No. What did I write in my notes? Hang on.
What, do you have something?
Orca, the Alpha Ringtone Mystery Box.
That is 100% accurate. Yes.
Yes. I thought you would enjoy that.
That's great.
And everything kicks off when all of a sudden, after they... are working on this cryptid being born moth giant thing in China.
Is that where it is? I thought it was
China.
No, I think it's in South America somewhere.
Maybe it's South America, but then it flies to China.
Yes.
I don't know. It's somewhere. And a nation not friendly to the United States. There is this giant moth, and all of a sudden, a band of British mercenaries busts in and just starts shooting people
Yeah,
after the moth.
Alan Jonah, coolest mercenary guy. Like
Yeah,
one of two consistent characters in this movie.
that's fair.
He was like, "You want to release giant monsters? Did you expect things to go well?"
Yeah. Well, we're not there yet.
I know, sorry.
And they shoot a bunch of people. The
Yep.
mom's not worried about them.
Yep.
And they also watched a bunch of their own guards get killed by
Yep.
a giant moth and showed zero remorse.
Yep. The mom is kind of a psychopath.
The mom is. So then they get captured, air quotes. They take the alpha ringtone mystery box with them.
Orca.
The moth is set free because that's what they do apparently.
Well, you know, if you love something.
Monarch, and if this sounds confusing, I am trying my best to describe.
This is the first like 20 minutes. This is
But I feel like to explain. All right, let me see if I can abbreviate this.
No,
So
you're
then
fine. This
Monarch
is
goes
setting the tone. This
Monarch
is setting
goes
the tone.
to get Dad, who is literally like. Do you think? Okay, the wolf eating the deer, was that real?
It was very lifelike.
Was that
wasn't
like
it?
they took some straight up Nat Geo?
I think
footage?
it was. I think it was straight up Nat
Right.
Geo footage.
So
That's probably the most lifelike
he studies
part of
wolves,
this movie.
you know, and is basically budget Chris Pratt's character from Jurassic World as well.
So he's Tom Cruise and Chris.
No. He's Chris Pratt's character, but they
I know.
want Tom Cruise
Yeah,
to play him.
yeah. I got you.
And he'll magically fix the situation, and all of a sudden cares about his ex-wife.
Right. Well,
at a ridiculous amount.
I don't know if he ever.
No, he does. He cares a ridiculous amount. Like it's not just the daughter.
It's
He's like
a lot of it's the daughter, though. We don't really
Yeah.
see because he's just mad at her. Anyway, keep going.
So-
We can talk about that later.
he gets picked up by this company that's also like
Yep,
the
Monarch.
U.S. government
Yep.
simultaneously is trying to get them under control, but fails? Question mark. And then
They're like, "Hey,
find
your
a-
wife and daughter have been kidnapped."
Yeah, they take them to some super secret oil rig that is actually a massive base
Military
under the
base
ocean.
station. Yeah.
And they have, you know, the most sophisticated whatever Star Wars nonsense known to man.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Godzilla has a panic attack in the ocean.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh no!"
They're like, "Oh, there must be something going on." Yep.
Oh, then they check their sensors and they're like, "Oh, what do you know? There's something going on." So then they fly to Antarctica.
Where the
mercenary
Yep.
band shows up again, kills a bunch of scientists.
Yep.
And they're setting loose three-headed
Monster Zero. Yes.
which turns out to be an alien.
Yes.
It turns out to be an alien. Which
that was
will be relevant later.
That was a great reveal. It's like we have all these monsters. That's totally normal, but this one,
This
not
one's
normal.
normal. That's why he doesn't respond to the alpha mystery box. The monster gets out. The dad like somehow evades like the Monarch special forces guys engaging with the mercenaries, makes his way somehow to the most perilous bridge in front of the dragon monster thing, and he's holding up 20 guys with a single handgun.
Yep.
And
I mean, the sniper is there too.
she has no clear shot. They make a huge point to
Yeah,
say
that's
she
true.
has no clear shot.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the mom and the daughter could feasibly
Just
go
walk
to him.
across. Yeah, he's like, "Hey, come on, we're getting out of
And
here."
All of a sudden,
And the mom's like, "No,
no. Well, it's even worse. Millie Bobby Brown gets like halfway, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
stop, daughter." Yeah, she's like, "Maddie, come back."
And she like has a tear rolled out her cheek, and she's like,
She's like, "I have to literally choose between my parents."
well, and it's just, it felt like, you know, like when Elrond and Isildur, like in Mount Doom, about to toss it into the fire.
No,
That's exactly what it felt like.
Yes. Except not even as meaningful. It's just
And
weird.
yeah. So then you're like, pause for reference. The plot so far has been: there is a broken family.
Yep.
There is a super company.
Yep.
There are monsters on the loose.
Yep. Mom from Broken Family is now also working for the bad guys.
So then dad tries to rescue
Yep.
mom and daughter, and they choose not to be rescued. That is literally
That is literally what happens. Yeah, they choose not to be rescued.
then
Monster
they-
Zero escapes because they let him loose.
And then I'll condense the rest because there's not much there. Monster Zero basically controls hundreds of big monsters.
Yeah, so Monster Zero has his own Orca Alpha ringtone
because
box.
he's an alien.
Yep.
They need to figure out how to stop him because he beats the crap out of Godzilla.
Yep.
Godzilla runs away.
Well, then they kill Godzilla. Like, they try to. Yeah.
Oh, they beat.
It's it's the new special oxygen nuke bomb.
Yeah, the green one, the Death Star. Laser looking thing.
That they suck all the oxygen out, but it doesn't affect the alien because he's an alien.
Anyways, Godzilla runs away to his hideout. Turns
Yep.
out to be Atlantis.
Yep.
They chase him to Atlantis. Oh no, it's full of radiation. They send Ken. What's his?
Yeah, Watanabe.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
I
send
forget
him.
his name in the movie actually, but
Doesn't matter.
knockoff Saito.
He knock off Saito and the captain in Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yes.
And also the samurai guy.
Yeah, all of these. I literally feel so bad for him.
Oh, I like that character.
I know he's a good character, but like this movie is just not like they don't do a good job with the dialogue, and he does a good job with what he's given because he's a phenomenal actor. I mean, see case in point, all of those other characters.
Inception,
Pirates of the Caribbean, Last Samurai, a phenomenal actor. But I just so we're gonna get to that with characters.
He goes
his
and
death. Oh my gosh,
has to feed Godzilla a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, he gotta give him that radiation boost.
The submarines somehow they
can't make it in there, and
the missile tubes are broken, blah blah blah, and then they literally blow up Atlantis, which we'll come back to later.
Yep.
Godzilla wakes up, goes fights monsters, and eventually wins because his girlfriend, the Moth, dies.
Yep, and the mom dies in the battle.
Oh yeah, and then the mom decides not to get on,
and the daughter decides that she doesn't want to be a bad guy.
Yeah, because her mom is
crazy, cray, literally cray.
Extinction level event.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, humanity is a disease.
We're not there yet. That's not the plot. Okay. We're not there yet.
I mean, that's like her motivation, I guess.
The basic plot is dad tries to rescue daughter. Bad guys kidnap daughter and mom to free monster. Monster beats the crap out of good monster. Good monster
comes back. Beats the crap out of bad monster.
Well, he gets his butt kicked. His girlfriend, the Moth, dies.
Helps. Yeah.
He drinks her cosmic spirit juice.
Yep, radiation, Josh. It's just radiation.
It's cosmic spirit juice. And he
becomes a bomb.
He becomes
a nuclear bomb.
Who gets like a cool like Call of Duty Black Ops cosmetic apparently. It looks like a walking volcano.
Yes. He's just like if you've seen Kung Fu Panda? Have you seen Kung Fu? Remember the end when he's like skadoosh. Yeah, that's how I felt like at the end of this movie when Godzilla's just like, you're dead.
Kung Fu Panda is a beautiful movie.
Yes,
I can't say the same about this. There you go.
Anyway,
that's the plot.
The whole point of this movie is, as Ken Watanabe says, let them fight. That's the whole point.
I'm really sorry. Can you pause it for just a second so I can grind the coffee beans?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to mess it up.
Oh, we could have recorded. I'm not upset.
I'm definitely going to leave that in if it picks her up. Can you pause while I grind the coffee beans?
Sure, Lydia, we can pause.
Okay. So yeah, the whole point of this movie is just to watch monsters fight. And if you think there's anything more than that, you're wrong and you're going to be disappointed.
No, actually, there's a lot more to it. There's G.I. Joe fighting. There's an alien that's not explained how that works. And they find Atlantis and blow it up not 3 minutes later. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. What about character arcs?
That's negatory from me, Captain.
I don't know of any.
The dad?
Really, yeah, maybe.
Well, all right. Mark, the dad.
Mark is going to be the strongest character if we're there. There's no character arc from the mom. There's no there's a small one from Maddie, the daughter, when she chooses to
steal the Alpha Orca box.
Yeah, to basically try to become good and save humanity and fight against her mom and the eco-terrorists.
Meanwhile, half the world's been Thanos snapped, basically.
Right, because of the monsters. The biggest thing that we have is Mark's relationship with Godzilla. Like, that's the biggest character arc, because he goes from wanting to kill Godzilla to, like, trusting Godzilla at the very end, which I'm sure is a symbol for something.
Oh, it's a symbol for something, and I'll get there when we get to Clear Ethical Lesson, because I got some words. Well, so to his credit, there is also the thing about Mark running and hiding from his problems. They do that.
Yes, and he turns to face them.
And then they have an arbitrary one-liner about alcoholism.
Yep.
and he does pivot.
Yep.
And is very proactive to try to save his broken family.
So I would say he's probably the only real character arc, and it's him addressing his problems and trying to redeem his past.
Yeah,
it's just not clear, and it's not great.
The mom has a boomerang arc. Like, she goes bad, and then like, oh no, I killed half
I think she's just a traumatized individual that...
I'm not even going to give her that luxury.
She's just like all over the place.
Well, so okay, I just remembered. In the beginning of the movie, isn't there like Ellie's Bobby Brown is like
cooking... she's like, I'm concerned for mom.
Yeah, she's cooking eggs or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think she's literally a crazy person. Because
was that supposed to like...
I think so. I think that's supposed to explain her entire character.
Where she's just insane.
Yeah, like her son dies, she goes crazy, and she decides, well, the world is a terrible place, so we have to destroy the world by releasing monsters.
We're going to talk about that in Clear Ethical Lesson if you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, because she is like, humanity is bad, so everyone needs to die. Not me and my family, but everyone else needs to die.
Everybody else in their family?
Yeah, I mean, she literally... I was like, wait. It's
classic, like, whenever somebody says, we need a plague, I'm like, you first.
Yeah, exactly. The plague doesn't choose people. You are...
You show me that roster,
Captain. Yeah, she's like, we need to set off an apocalypse event while I hide in my bunker. I was like, oh, nice. Okay, yeah, sure.
Our super secret G.I. Joe Transformers Space Station X Tesla
had a nice library, though.
I didn't see it. I didn't know. We were also, to be full disclosure, I was helping my wife make cookies while I watched this.
Didn't miss much.
No, I mean, I watched the whole thing, and I caught the whole thing. It was just like, I needed something to hold on to.
Like cookies.
Yep. And they were good. Good job, Tay.
Any other character arcs?
There's Chief Master Sergeant.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that yet. He doesn't have a character arc. He's just awesome. Every fight scene, I was like, does he die? Is he gonna die?
What is Ken's character's name? Is his self-sacrifice an arc, or is it just pointless?
Yeah, so we can talk about that now.
You want to bridge? Is this
bridge? Yeah, we can bridge there. I was gonna talk about that death in engaging characters, because he's like one of like three engaging characters.
Okay, well, I'll help you build a bridge. You ready? So this character, the scientist guy, he
is like the head of Monarch.
Yeah, and he believes firmly
that Godzilla is a good guy.
And I would argue that he thinks Godzilla is rightfully God.
Yeah, like the owner of the planet, and we should not mess with him.
There is a lot of, we're going to force feed you something and not tell you what we're feeding you, and it's that Godzilla is God.
Yeah, well, it's in his name.
Godzilla, right? Yeah. Godzilla. And that in the subtweet is that nature is God.
Yeah.
And so this puny human's existence is insignificant when compared to the power of the Force. This guy believes that his life and arguably humanity pales in significance to nature. Right? And so the main ethical lesson that they want you to take away is that global warming bad, human society bad, nature good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't come out and say that.
They do. They literally do.
No, they talk in general terms. They don't mention global warming at all, except in the mom's tirade at the very end when she mentions.
Say that again, but slower.
What, the mom's tirade? Yeah.
They don't say it until.
Yeah.
Which means they do say it.
Yeah, but she's crazy. She's not the good guy. We're not supposed to take away. Her ethical lesson is terrible. We don't want to be like the mom. So that would actually be antithetical to the movie's point.
That's why this movie's bad.
Oh, because you think that's what they're trying to say, but they say it through the lens of the villain.
It's nature and humanity have to coexist, brother.
Right, that is the point. That nature and humanity have to coexist.
The global warming lecture.
Okay, they don't use that particular issue.
They say that they verbatim say mankind is killing nature.
Yeah, but that's not. There are other ways that mankind kills nature. Okay.
Yeah.
Recycling.
The plastic straws are back on the menu, boys. Anyways, so I'll just say I was a really good Boy Scout. I was actually an Eagle Scout, and I really love nature. I think I got it when I was 17, so I was really close to losing the ability
Yeah,
to.
you made it though.
I really love nature, and I firmly believe that taking care of nature is important. However, the narrative that people are not important or that we should be willing to sacrifice people is something I just cannot get behind. And so the ethical lesson that they're trying to put, I have trouble with on like, my own ethical level, if that makes sense. So that's my bridge.
Yeah,
That was a
no.
long like San Francisco bridge, but it's there.
But it's golden, Pony Boy. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. So we've got this ethical lesson of nature and humanity coexisting. I don't find a lot besides that. Maybe you could talk a little bit about Mark confronting his problems.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it's well fleshed out.
We already
I
did that in character.
and I don't think it's really that good. Right? Like that might be present, but it's not super good. I also don't trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about for clear ethical lesson.
I mean,
there's not
like you said at the beginning. The point of the movie is to watch big monsters fight.
Yep, absolutely.
Which
redemption is possible.
Yeah.
From Mark. That's what.
Got to drive away in a Jeep and die.
I don't think from her though. Maybe I guess was that supposed to be redemption?
I think it was supposed to be redemption.
It was bad redemption. There are so many unnecessary sacrifices in this movie. Like, people die all the time, and they're like, there's no other way. And it's like, well, you
could have just stepped on that helicopter and then dropped the box over the ocean or something.
All you had to do is think about it for, 20 seconds. And...
Well, she did. They literally,
she dies, the scientist dies, they're like, the only way is to drop a nuclear bomb, but we can't. And he's like, I'll do it. And they're like, there can be another way. And he's like, there's no other way. I was like, okay, you're like...
You couldn't drive a, self-propelled submersible in there and figure out how to push it over
something. I know, yeah, there's a lot.
I guess they did have the scene where they do have those drones, which those drones were kind of sick. They're submarine ones that could fly.
But I'm like, okay, so wait, the drones can't make it in there, but a human submarine can make it in there. I don't know. See, it just
we're not
breaks down, right? Yeah, I know. But that's what I mean. There's just a lot of pointless sacrifices that are all for the purpose of moving the plot along, the plot being the monsters fighting. The only thing that came to mind, have you seen the meme where it's like, I watched this for the plot, and then it's the plot. And that's what I feel like, I watched this movie for the plot, and the plot is just the two monsters fighting. I
have so many jokes I could say, I will say none.
There you go. It's
discretion is the better part of valor.
Virtue.
Virtue is the better part of valor?
No, discretion is the better part of virtue.
I've always said valor.
Oh, I don't think so, because that would be bravery.
Yep.
So discretion is bravery?
Oh yeah. It takes courage for me not to say what I'm going to say. If you got it, say it.
If you got it, say it.
Whatever. One thing I do want to say, it bothered me
before conflict.
An ethical.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to say, we talked about it in the Transformers episode from last season.
Which it's bad if we're already bringing up Transformers.
The sacrifice and death is
it needs to matter. Yep.
And you should feel something I cannot think of a good war movie where you celebrate people dying.
Correct.
In this movie, they have an entire squadron of F-35s get blown up.
And and they don't have to. Even when they're about to retreat, they're like, call off the ships, and then the planes all get blown up anyway.
They have montages of ground soldiers getting stomped on.
Just completely eaten, stomped on, yeah.
And it's, and
all preventable, right?
Yeah,
all preventable. It wasn't like they got ambushed. It wasn't
Well, it's not even like they're not even doing a service to save anyone.
Mm-hmm.
They're not protecting anyone, really.
Yep.
So it's very hollow, and it's just oh, you wanted to watch your dinosaur action figures step on your army men.
Right.
And I'm not...
Which my army men always died for something.
Yeah, well, so we'll talk about this probably consistency. I feel like live action demands a level of reality that this did not give.
Yeah.
And the death in significance of life. Like, again, going back to
the Transformers. Well, we talked about, people get slaughtered in Transformers.
droves, like all of Chicago.
Yeah, and like you don't feel anything. There's no significance there. And this movie does a similar thing where people are getting killed all over the place.
It might even be borderline cheering.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, wow, Godzilla's awesome.
Right.
Like, wow.
Right. Evil monster. Yeah.
Do with that what you want. That's just an aside from Josh.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Just really mixed. Yeah. What about conflict and resolution?
I'm voting.
It's bad.
No.
Yeah, it's actually really bad. The mom wants to release monsters. That happens.
And then I don't know.
He gets killed, and Godzilla's the new king of the monsters.
I will say.
And I guess there's a whole credit montage at the very end. Did you watch the credit montage?
No.
They literally tie up all the loose ends in the credits.
Oh, I turned the TV off.
Oh, yeah. No, there's newspaper articles and little videos and pictures. And they're Godzilla tells all the monsters to go home. And yeah.
Look at you, New York Times.
Yes.
Godzilla speaks to other monsters, tells them to go home.
Yes.
Wow.
Literally.
Clark Kent is really allergic to kryptonite.
Yes. And so they wrap up everything in the last 2 minutes of the credits. And then at the very end it's Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah.
Oh, they do a teaser?
The last newspaper article is King Kong is found on the island, and then it's a picture of a giant gorilla fighting Godzilla on a cave painting.
Bringing Transformers back. You might know how there was the Transformers movie where they're jungle animals.
Yeah.
Do you think it was inspired by these Godzilla remakes?
Oh well, yes and no, because the Transformers animals is a whole comic thing that goes way back.
I know, but
making it a movie
to make it happen.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because Transformers, they just do everything. I mean, they have knights. They have Transformers that are knights.
Yeah.
So they just if you got it, say it. That's what Transformers does.
Transformers.
Yeah.
Not machines in disguise.
No.
Clear conflict.
It's not good. It's not good.
Does
the dad wants to? I guess he does get his daughter back. So
I didn't see it happen.
Well, she goes with him on the helicopter.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Now that's how the movie ends. We don't actually,
yeah.
and that's another thing that I have an issue with is they talk about these 17 monsters all over the world.
Was it just 17?
Yeah, it was just 17.
I thought it was 100.
No, 17 monsters all over the world, but they're moving so fast. They're leveling Tokyo, San Francisco, Chicago, DC is underwater by the end of the movie.
Oh my gosh, we'll get there at consistency.
That was an epic shot.
No, okay, but
it was a 20-second shot of helicopters flying around.
They had a destroyer floating past the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. You can see the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, which means there's a puddle, and you got a U.S. naval destroyer floating on top of a puddle. We're not even consistency yet. But I got I have thoughts.
Yeah, that's part of my issue. Is all of these cities across the world are destroyed, and the movie just ends. And we're I'm glad Godzilla beat up the dragon. And it's wait, what about all of the world?
How did the destroyer make it across Memorial Garden? I don't understand.
Well, in the last fight scene, there's tons of them. They come in. They're this time Godzilla's gonna have help. And it's a squadron of aircraft and 15 destroyers and battleships floating next to Godzilla.
I want everyone to remember, the U.S. government in this movie said, we do not like you, Monarch, and we don't want to help you, Monarch.
Yes, and
we want to control you.
And the U.S. government was we have to kill all of the monsters, including Godzilla. And then all of a sudden they're actually, we're going to devote our entire resources to help Godzilla. It's quick turnaround. But, the enemy of my enemy is a giant dragon, so...
That's in Beowulf, right?
It is, yes, that's right.
Where are we? What are we doing?
If you got it, say it.
Engaging characters?
Not really. Mark is the best one because he's the only smart one. Everything he says is actually legitimate. But they use him to solve their problems, but then they don't listen to him.
I didn't even find any of the characters were cool.
The one character that I thought was cool was
Shay O'Connor.
Yes. My favorite black soldier who doesn't even get a name. I was so mad. I was man, what is that guy's name? He is Chief Warrant Officer. That is his name. I was so mad. He's cool, but he only gets 2 lines of dialogue.
And they're weird.
Yeah. So
not his fault.
No. It was the screenwriter, but
I also feel bad. Like his role in Kenobi was also kind of like meh.
Yep.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Why not give him something?
Give
cool?
him some more. Yeah, I know. So,
we're not inconsistency yet, but the scene where he's like flying in a tornado, hanging onto a pole in a child's arm. It's just like
crazy.
The characters are not cool to me. Like, I'm sorry, not even him.
The coolest things about this movie are, of course, the monsters, right? And we don't even get a lot of that. Like, we get a ton with Godzilla and Monster Zero, or Ghidorah, the three-headed Hydra, and then we get the Fire Phoenix.
That just magically wants to help.
Sure, yeah.
The
and then Mothra.
Three-headed dragon thing.
Right. And then Mothra. And besides those four, we get like a giant mammoth.
They do focus
and like a
on,
tarantula.
Well, it's not even a mammoth,
like,
it's like a gorilla mammoth.
Yeah. But they don't it's like a pan over. I'm like, okay, wait, well, what, you're gonna like show like...
They show his back like 5 times.
I know. And you're like, wait,
they ran out of assets.
Like, I guess. I don't know.
They ran out of money to build.
There's like a giant armadillo. And
what?
Like, yeah, you didn't see the armadillo one? There was like...
No, I didn't see a giant armadillo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wrote them down. All the ones that I saw. I saw a giant scorpion.
I did not see that
Phoenix,
either. What were you looking at?
Spider.
What was
mammoth, armadillo.
I saw the mammoth. I saw the spider.
Yeah. There was like a scorpion that came out of the desert, and they were like, "He's releasing all the monsters," and it was like, and there was a giant like you saw the tail and the pictures.
I was busy rolling my eyes.
Yeah, there you go. I thought you were rolling the dough for the cookies.
No, my eyes.
But yeah. So for all of the monsters that were getting these like cameos, I wish we would have gotten more of them because.
Dude, the mammoth one kind of would have been a sick fight.
Oh, that would have been cool. Like,
anyways.
Yeah. If it was like, what was a better version of this movie? How to Train Your Dragon 2. Okay?
I haven't seen that.
There is like the idea of like the king monster, and like all the other monsters are listening to the king.
Which came out first, Zach? Which one came out first?
How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yeah. Oh, coincidence?
And it's better. I think not. Maybe. Okay, so it's bad. It's bad all the way down to the root. But what about Captivating World?
I see it.
It's like a D for me.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, there are some interesting things. I like, so they start to touch on some ideas of like what would the world be like if there were giant monsters, and I appreciate when people do that. Like similar to how like the Marvel universe is like, what would the world be like if it was kind of real but kind of superheroes? I appreciate when people try and do that well, but it was like there were all these moments that just didn't connect, right?
They didn't take a lot of time to do that.
Mm-mm. And they do a lot of, this is my least favorite type of storytelling, they do a lot of telling and not showing.
Yeah.
And so, like, even in, Josh mentioned at the beginning, there's, like, the monarch versus the government, like, court hearing. And
it's a Senate, like...
Yeah, it's like a Senate hearing. And they go through and they basically just outline a whole bunch of plot points for the movie. But
and they also do that weird
kind of,
here's a scene of Titans reproducing, and you're like,
there's the humor in this movie is really off.
It's very
like not even like inappropriate off. It's like bad off.
There's some inappropriate off.
Yeah, but it's more like it doesn't make sense. Like someone was trying to be funny and it's just not hitting. It's just not connecting like the whole time. Like delivery jokes, it was
if you got it,
say it. But make sure it's funny. Anything else for Captivating World? It's just
so if there's monsters, I prefer suspense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if they're, it's just the bigger the scale.
What's a really great monster movie?
Monsters Incorporated.
Yes, that's true. Much better world building, I will say.
No, yeah, for real.
No, but I was thinking of A Quiet Place.
Oh, yeah.
Monster's not even shown, really, for like 90% of that movie.
And you're terrified.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
I haven't seen the new one.
That, like, suspense. It's good. It's really good.
The new one?
Yeah, it's actually really good. Day one. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's really good.
I guess I need to watch more TV.
I probably watch too much.
It's just, I'm also, like, when things get larger, I care less. So, like, even in, like, for instance, I'll use a Star Wars example. Starkiller Base is just, like, in episode 7.
It's a
just
bigger
like,
Death Star.
What if we put 5 Death Stars together? And all of a sudden, I'm like, I care
less.
Very little.
Yeah.
Like,
that doesn't actually...
Bigger does not always mean better.
Yep. Better means better.
Yeah. And so, like, just the fact that these things are huge makes it like, I don't I don't really care.
Yep.
And then also we'll talk about consistency, but I think if they handled like their Monarch private military stuff better, I probably would have been invested a little bit more.
Yeah, if there was more tension or relationship there.
Or I don't know, understanding of how these things actually function and work, and not just slapping patches on things and giving people zip
Random
ups.
colonel shows up and
Yeah,
it's like, here's all the stuff you need.
Colonel's also a sniper.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, I was talking about the other like Colonel General guy that shows up. I forget
the
actor's
guy
I forget the actor's
smarter.
name. He's a really famous actor, but he shows up and he's just like,
tell us what to do.
Yeah.
Even though they had the whole court here, like it's just stuff
it's
like
so
that.
Weird. Yep. And I guess that's a good transition into consistency, right?
Yeah,
it's just not consistent. There's so many missing elements. The sacrifices do not make any sense. They seem meaningless. I mean, Josh really hates the fact that they blew up Atlantis 5 minutes after discovering it. You wanna?
They literally say, "This is the greatest discovery man has ever made," and not like no exaggeration. In the same shot, they go, "We got to blow it up." That might be a slight exaggeration, but
it's like very close.
It's like 10 seconds later.
Yeah,
and they do like that. That
like
is,
Godzilla feeds off of radiation. I'll have to do a nuclear bomb.
And listen. I like one of my guilty pleasures is watching like those like hunting for Bigfoot or like
like
aliens,
the documentaries and stuff like that.
Are aliens real type things?
Yeah.
And so I also really love Indiana Jones.
Yep.
And so like the idea that these giant monsters existed and that's where like these ancient cultures built their like deities off of or whatever. Super cool idea.
Yep, super interesting. Like, oh, there was this civilization that like worshipped Godzilla,
and it's Atlantis, and they don't even say Atlantis, but
it's an underwater city
at the bottom of the ocean, in Mariana's Trench or whatever.
Yep.
And it's epic looking, and they do like the shots are cool. Those are some cool special effects.
Yeah, and they do like the whole suspense thing where they're like discovering like I like when they do that. The water, almost like something like Jaws or like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or like something
Journey
where you're
to the center
of the earth. Yeah, where
Disney
you're like
Atlantis.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like underwater, and the cameras are like slowly discovering things. Super cool.
And I love stuff like that. And I thought
that would have increased captivating world.
I thought the movie was going to pivot.
Yep.
And then they were going to learn
they even said like, this is where Godzilla is healing, but it's going to take too long.
And it's because there's a laser beam in the middle of the ocean that's
permanent radiation.
And it's just like, wait, what?
What I want to know is, with all this radiation across the planet, like, how are people still around? It seems like there's radiation pumping out everywhere.
I don't know, but they just like they introduce this really cool thing and then they kill it, like they just destroy it, and it was just like mind-boggling. Like, why not have the three-headed monster find a way into Atlantis and fight in Atlantis?
That would have been cool. Yeah, definitely.
And you could have like
underwater battle. Yeah.
Why not? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot there. Consistency. I've already talked about guys dying.
Yep.
I will say the submarine, since we're around this, the physics of the submarine are remarkably laughable. Like when they get shot up.
After the bomb goes off. Yes, that is so weird. Like all of a sudden, pressure doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be gross, but people's skulls would be shattered.
Yes. Yeah.
Their organs would be on
the submarine should have been crushed. If there's like the pressure of the water mixed with the pressure of like an atomic bomb. It should have been like
a Coke can.
Yes. Yeah.
Because so what happens? The nuke goes off. There's also some weird stuff about like hollow tunnels in the earth.
Those are all throwaway lines to connect to the Kong movie and the sequel. Like the third.
Is there a jungle in the middle of the earth?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! So they rip off Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Basically, yeah.
Yikes! All right, well, so like, yeah, I don't know. Physics doesn't matter in a lot of this movie. One like just somebody who
physics didn't matter in Transformers either. Actually,
and we gave it an F.
I know,
and I specifically talked about that.
I know. Yeah, I'm just noticing the similarities. I just thought that was funny.
It is So I told Zach this movie is just the worst parts of G.I. Joe of Channing Tatum, Transformers with Shia LaBeouf, and like Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Like it's just the worst parts of those movies fused
Just
together,
all put together.
like Frankenstein. But I will also
But not
say,
Frankenstein, because that's actually a good story.
yeah. I will say, like, the last thing I'll say on consistency, because I know I've had the mic for a while. The bomber being able to evade, like, so, like, 1, 2, 3 things.
Wait,
2, maybe 3.
Are you talking about, like, when the Phoenix comes out?
Yes!
Yes.
So, 2, maybe 3 things.
The
1,
F-15s, they can't escape
yes.
all of the...
Yes, so they got the current generation fighter, the F-35.
Yeah.
Cannot outrun this monster, but then they got a B-2 flying, like, mega...
Josh
like,
said it's the...
It's just the...
It's the Hydra bomber from Captain America.
It looks the same. It's the same thing. It also looks like Snoke's flagship in 8.
Yeah.
And it's just like that thing. And they also do like these drastic like turns and banks and like they, pull up and not crash. Like it's just
crazy.
And I told Zach, if you put these things in a cartoon, I would be like, all right.
Yeah, sure.
But because it's live action.
Well, it's like Josh said on the Despicable Me episode, animation, cartoon, it gives you a certain kind of freedom when it comes to captivating world and consistency. But
you could play fast and loose with a lot of things.
Exactly, because of the different style of the story.
It is a cartoon, and you expect it to be a cartoon.
Exactly, but this is live action,
so
and you're kind of playing it off as something real and believable, but then you're not doing that.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to call it small potatoes. Some of you might be like, "Oh, that's not a big deal." To me, it is. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways, I think that was my rant TED Talk thing.
Sure. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think are gonna conclude it. Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm thinking F. It's not gonna. It doesn't stand up. Yep.
I concur.
Yeah, I think
they blew up Atlantis.
Yep. I think the only reason you watch this movie is if you really want to see monsters fight.
Okay, we didn't even address this. One thing. Godzilla turning into a nuclear bomb.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk about that, did we?
No, I mean, a little bit. We mentioned it, like, because he gets the
he
Black Ops reskin.
Yeah, he gets the Black Ops reskin.
Yeah, he turns all orange and glowing, and
he just magically...
Godzilla just glows all the time. He, like, starts off green, and then he glows blue, and then he glows orange, and, he's just...
All right, yeah, we can go. Yeah, F.
Yeah, F. Yep. So just, if you want to watch monsters fight, then watch monsters fight, but don't expect anything else. But with that, we want to remind you to comment your own thoughts about Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yeah, if you disagree with us.
Yeah, sure. Maybe you think this is an S tier quality movie, and if that's the case, we will probably have some words.
You're still an S tier quality person.
There you go.
Just with opinions that might not land there.
Oof. So make sure to find us on Patreon.com and subscribe there to become a Pathfinder today. We've got some more episodes coming out as well for Patreon-specific members, so you're going to want to tune in and follow us there to make sure that you're getting access to those.
Will those be free?
Some.
The first one?
Probably.
Yeah. So if you like it, consider,
doing some more to help.
Subscribe with
Absolutely.
your wallet.
Yeah, definitely. Subscribing wallets is helpful. So make sure to comment and share us on Instagram, Facebook, all the places where you interact with people online. And join our Discord, because it's a fun community. We've talked about a lot of stuff, and it's pretty exciting.
Enjoy our outro.
Yeah.
And probably the outtake.
Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop.
Bomb, bomb, bomb. Blow up. Anyways, you know what else I didn't enjoy?
But wait.
I guess you have to do it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, is it my intro?
We need an F. We need an F. I'll do it.